Ladies, we are here tonight on Mesh. And tonight, man, we're going to talk about um, the two games from last night, man. Freaking Knicks. No, I beg you pardon. I beg you pardon. Celtics and Sixers, man. Um, no, first let's talk about this freaking ass whooping, man. I can't believe it. The Nuggets 125, 100. Just like last year, they were down 30 points at halftime. Last year to the Mavericks, this year to the freaking Nuggets. Look, this team, they're missing a lot of things, right? They don't have a bench. Outside of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, there's not a lot of scoring. Ayton, I don't know what has happened to this guy. I was not a big fan of Ayton coming out of college, but he's gotten even worse. I think you really got to get rid of him. Chris Paul, I think you got to get rid of him too. I think he's washed. If I was Chris Paul, I would even retire, honestly. Honestly, I would retire if I was Chris Paul, man. Devin, you got to build this team around Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. You got to give him a much better supporting cast. But at the same time, man, freaking Monty Williams, there's one thing about losing, another thing about in consecutive years, taking the ass whooping of a lifetime in a win-or-go-home game. Remember years ago, the Broncos, when they got their ass whooped in the Super Bowl by the Seattle? Next year, what happened? They came back in the playoffs, and again, they got their ass whooped by the Colts. John Elway and Pat Bolden said, that's enough. I understand you're not going to win, but there's one thing about, you get your butt whooped. They got their butt whooped by Seattle in that Super Bowl. They kind of got their whoop the following year by Indianapolis in that playoff game. And he fired John Fox and he hired Gary Kubiak because I wanted this team to go out fighting, swinging. And he felt that under John Fox, they were just kind of, they were just getting their butt whoops anytime they would lose the final game of the season. And I think the same thing here for Monty Williams. I think when it comes to elimination games, his teams don't show up. And I think it's time to fire him. I hate to say it. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a great person. But he's missing that ingredient to, motivate the team in an elimination game. That's 2 times in a row. You're down by as many as 30 consecutive years in elimination games. I hate to say it, but I think you have to go. If you're Monty Williams, I mean, they fired Nick Nurse after winning the championship in 2019. They fired Mike Budenholzer after winning the championship in 2021. What the hell has Monty Williams won? Nothing. They're going to fire him too, man. Let's look at some of the board score here. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 21 points. He played really good. Jamal Murray, 26 points. Jokic is a monster, 32, 10, and 12, a freaking triple-double. Michael Porter, he didn't play that good, but 10 points, whatever. Aaron Gordon, he wasn't even aggressive. He didn't need to. 8 points, whatever. Bruce Brown, 13 points off the bench. Jokic is a monster, man. He's a freaking monster, man. Another 30-point triple-double. The guy's a freaking monster. Murray doing his thing with 26. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope with 21. Bruce Brown with 13 off the bench. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter barely showed up, and they still beat the hell out of them. They were up by 30 at halftime. They beat them by 25 points. Man, it's just embarrassing, man. The freaking Suns just don't have a supporting cast, man. Look at the Durant, man. I think at one point he was 1 for 10 on his shots. He ended up going 8 for 19 with 23 points. Devin Booker, 12 points. He played really bad. 4 out of 13. I think Devin Booker and Kevin Durant got tired. I said it. You can't be playing like this. You can't be playing these guys 43 minutes a game. It's too much. And I think it got to them, especially in this game. Maybe the final 2 games, they got to them because Devin Booker couldn't even get to 15 points. Durant struggled. He couldn't even get to 25. This was a lot of garbage time. Cameron Payne, 31. Jarvis, I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. Jock Landale, 13 points. Man, Devin Booker, Durant got tired. They ran out of gas. They got to get supporting cast. They have got to get a supporting cast. Ayton didn't play because he had a freaking a contusion in his rib. It wasn't even broken. Even fucking coaches were calling him soft. Like, not the Phoenix Suns, but other coaches around the league said he was soft for not playing with a contusion rib. They got to build this team. I think this team. My thing is, look, I was very high on this team for next year in 2024. But what I am seeing is Kevin Durant. I don't want to say he's washed, but he's like at the tail end of his prime. He's not what he was and with the Oklahoma or the Warriors. I think his final good year was probably 2021, where he had that that 3-pointer, but he just barely stepped on the line, so it was a 2 instead of a 3. To me, that was his final good year. I think he's still kind of in the tail end of his prime. But let's see, once again, the turnovers. 4 turnovers once again. I don't know what happens. He gets like double teamed and he sort of gets freaked out and I don't know what's going on with Durant. But yeah, I think he's like at the tail end of his prime. And now I'm not sure if just Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and a good supporting cast is enough. I thought it would be, but seeing Kevin Durant play in these last few playoffs last year and this year, I know they don't have the greatest supporting cast, but Durant is not as dominant as he was, man. He's not as efficient. We'll see what happens with this team. Let's give him a fair shot next year with a good supporting cast, a full season, full training camp of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But I don't know, man. Something I've seen from Kevin Durant is that possibly he might no longer be in his prime, or at least he's more at the tail end. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do the other game. The freaking Celtics and the Sixers, man. This was a very poor game. Jonathan Tatum was really bad. Jason Tatum was really bad in this game. I think he had 1 point at halftime, pendejo face. But then he went off for like 16 in the fourth quarter. So I'll give him, he was kind of clutch at the end. But he really struggled, taking 21 shots, only making 5 of them. But he did come through at the end there. I'll give him that. Jaylen Brown, 17 points. I don't know, Jaylen Brown mentally. I don't know. Only took 13 shots. And he made half of them. He made 6 out of 13. That's about almost 50%. But he just doesn't take enough shots. I don't know, man. This might be Jaylen Brown's final year with the Celtics, man. I feel like sometimes he's not even 100% mentally in it, man. I honestly do, man. Marcus Smart, 22 points. Robert Williams, 10 points. Al Horford, 2 points. Malcolm Brogdon, 16 off the bench. You got Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart taking more shots than Jaylen Brown. Honestly, like, what the hell, man? But I'll give Tatum, even though he played like trash the first 3 quarters, in the fourth quarter, he did go he did go off. They're going to need a big performance from, if not both, at least one of Tatum and Jaylen Brown to win Game 7. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. Tatum is kind of struggling. Jaylen Brown is just not being aggressive. I don't know, man. I don't know about this team. We'll see what happens, man. Joel Embiid, 26 points, 10 rebounds. Wasn't super dominant, but I guess it's still respectable. Maxey, 26 points. You want him still around 25, 30 points, so I guess it's good. James Harden, he kind of struggles, 13 points. He took 16 shots, only made 4 of them. Tobias Harris really struggled, 2 points. 1 out of 7 shooting. PJ Tucker, he's out there for his defense, 8 points. The bench didn't really do much. Like, outside of Maxey and Joel Embiid, nobody really showed up for this team. Harden, like I said, he had 13 points, but about half of those 13 were from the free throw line. They need Harden. They need maybe a better production out of Embiid instead of maybe 26, maybe more like 35, 37. Maxey, like I said, somewhere between 25, 30. you need Harden and Tobias to play better. I think Tobias Harris will play much better in Game 7. And James Harden, he's got to have another performance like he did like in Game 1 or Game 3. Like at least 30 points maybe. I don't know. But yeah, the supporting cast was terrible tonight, man. Outside of Joel Embiid and Maxey, nobody really showed up for this team. Nobody really played good in this game, honestly. Everybody from Boston kind of sucked, outside of maybe Jason Tatum in the fourth quarter. Like I said, Maxey and Joel Embiid were like okay, but not dominant. The rest of the supporting cast, Tobias Harris, James Harden, really struggled tonight for Philadelphia. We'll see what happens in Game 7. Like I said, I don't know. We'll see. I'm really scratching my ass, and I don't even have androids, wondering what the hell's going on with Jaylen Brown, man. I just feel like he's not mentally there 100%. This guy should be taking like 20, 25 shots. He only took 13 shots last night, and he made like 6, 7 of them, like half of them. He should be taking more. There's no way what Malcolm Brogdon or Marcus Smart should be taking more shots than Jaylen Brown, man, honestly. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, holla.